Have you ever worked hard for a very long time and still watched someone else get the reward? You showed up every day, you did your job, you gave your time, but someone newer, someone younger, someone who came after you got the promotion. And you asked yourself, why? Maybe the answer is not what you think. Maybe the answer is not about them at all. This is a story about a man who was looking in the wrong direction for 4 years, and the one small task that changed everything.
Once upon a time, in a busy town, there lived a young man named Jack. Jack was 28 years old. He was strong, punctual, and hard-working. He came to work every day without fail. He never arrived late, he never left early. But Jack had one big problem. He believed the world was unfair to him, and this belief was slowly closing every door in front of him. Jack worked at a large supermarket in his town. He had worked there for 4 years. 4 years of stacking shelves, 4 years of checking prices, 4 years of showing up. And in those 4 years, Jack watched 3 people get promoted above him. First, it was Daniel. Daniel had been there 2 years. Then it was Priya. Priya had been there 18 months. And just last week, it was Sam. Sam was 21 years old. Sam had only been there 8 months. 8 months. Jack's jaw tightened every time he saw Sam's new name badge, supervisor. He had memorized how long each person had worked before their promotion. He kept the numbers in his head like small stones he carried everywhere. He talked about it at lunch. He talked about it on the walk home. He talked about it to anyone who would listen. "I have been here the longest," he told his friend one evening. "I know this store better than anyone, and still they choose someone else, every single time." His friend nodded quietly and said nothing. Jack believed the problem was his boss, Mr. Haran. Mr. Haran was a calm, quiet man who spoke carefully and promoted people without much explanation. Jack had decided long ago that Mr. Haran simply did not like him. There was no other reason. There could not be.
The morning after Sam's promotion, Jack arrived early. He stood in the car park before the store opened and watched Sam walk in through the staff entrance wearing a supervisor's lanyard. Something broke inside Jack that morning. He decided he would speak to Mr. Haran today. He would demand an answer. 4 years. He deserved that much. He walked to Mr. Haran's small office at the back of the store. He knocked once and opened the door. "Mr. Haran," Jack said, "I need to understand. Sam has been here 8 months. I have been here 4 years. Why is he a supervisor and I am not?" Mr. Haran looked up from his desk. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said something Jack did not expect. "Jack, do you believe you are ready to run this store?" Jack straightened. "Yes, I do." Mr. Haran nodded slowly. He picked up a clipboard from his desk and held it out. "Then show me." Jack took the clipboard. There was a single instruction written on the paper. "Walk every aisle in this store. Write down everything that needs to be fixed. Come back to me when you are finished." Jack almost smiled. This was easy. He knew this store better than anyone. He started at aisle 1, cereals and breakfast goods. He walked slowly, scanning each shelf. He found 2 misplaced items. He wrote them down. He moved to aisle 2. He found a price label facing the wrong direction. He wrote it down. Aisle 3, aisle 4, aisle 5. He was good at this. He could see problems clearly. A gap where stock had run out. A row stacked unevenly. A product placed in the wrong section entirely. He wrote everything down, quickly, confidently. By aisle 9, he had a long list. He felt the satisfaction of someone proving a point. Then he reached aisle 11, his aisle. The shelf he restocked every single day. The section he had managed for 4 years. He slowed down. He looked at the first row. A product faced backwards. He had not noticed it this morning. He He could not remember the last time he had checked. He looked at the second row. 3 items were in the wrong place. They had been sitting in the wrong place long enough to gather a thin layer of dust on the back edge of the shelf. He looked at the third row. The labels were out of order, prices were misaligned. 2 products were past their rotation date and should have been moved to the front weeks ago. Jack stood very still. He looked at his clipboard, at the long list of problems he had found in every other aisle. Then he looked back at his own shelf. He had walked past this shelf every day for 4 years. Every morning he arrived and every evening he left, and he had never once really looked at it. He had been looking everywhere else, always everywhere else. His hand holding the clipboard felt heavy. He wrote down what he found, slowly this time, without satisfaction.
Jack returned to Mr. Heron's office and placed the clipboard on the desk. Mr. Heron looked at the list. He read it quietly. Then he looked up. Which aisle had the most problems? Jack's voice was quiet. Mine. Mr. Heron said nothing. He simply waited. Jack sat down without being asked. I have been watching everyone else, Jack said slowly. Every mistake in the store, every promotion, every decision you made, I kept score of all of it. He paused. I never looked at my own shelf. Mr. Heron placed the clipboard on the desk between them. A supervisor's job, he said, is not to see what others are doing wrong. It is to see clearly, starting with himself. Jack looked at the clipboard. He thought about the dust on the back edge of his shelf. Weeks of dust, months maybe, and he had never seen it because he was always turned the other way. Jack did not say much for the rest of that day. He went back to aisle 11 and fixed every problem on his list. He rotated the stock. He aligned the labels. He faced every product forward. He cleaned the shelf from top to bottom. He came in early the next morning and checked it again before the store opened, and the morning after that. He stopped counting how long Sam had been there. He stopped watching who Mr. Heron spoke to first. He stopped keeping score. He had one shelf, and he was going to know every inch of it. 6 months later, Jack was promoted to supervisor. Mr. Heron shook his hand and said only, "You stopped looking outward." That was the day things changed. Jack kept the clipboard in his locker, not as a reminder of his embarrassment, a reminder of the question that changed him. This story teaches us something simple and difficult at the same time. It is easy to see what is wrong around us. It is easy to count what others have that we do not. It is easy to believe the world is unfair when we are always looking outward. But the question that changes everything is this: what does my own shelf look like today? Master where you stand. See yourself clearly. Do your work so well that the promotion becomes the only honest answer. Because the ladder does not go up. If this story felt familiar, share it with someone who needs to stop looking outward and start looking inward. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story with new lessons and new hope. Until then, stay wise, stay kind, and keep growing.